Hi, and welcome back to the Dreamweaver crash course. In this lesson, we'll be getting into validation. We're actually going to be discussing two forms of validation really quickly. The first way of form validation will be using validation behavior in the tag inspector, and then the next way will be using SPRY validation. And so to get started, we're going to go ahead and we have our form up, and hopefully you saved it from the last video. And we're going to go over to the tag inspector, click that, and then click behaviors. We're going to click send, click our send button or our submit button, and this is where we want to attach the behavior to. So we want something to happen, a behavior to happen once this form is clicked, or once this button is clicked, I'm sorry. Click this plus, you're going to get a drop down menu, and we're going to go down to validate form. Once you click that, a box is going to appear, and it's going to have all of our text fields and our text area in the fields section. And what we want to do is on the name ID, we're going to click required. We want this required, so if someone sends us information, we want to make sure that they enter their name. Accept is for basically how the information is formatted in this field, and so we'll accept anything in the name field. So the names are different things, so we'll go ahead and accept anything. Next, you're going to click input for email. We want email also required, and we want to accept an email address. So if you typed Johnny John or something, Johnny Kevin, it won't accept it. It'll only accept information that's in the format of an email address. And then for the text area comment, we'll have that be required also, and we'll accept anything. Then you click OK. And so what'll happen is, if that information isn't entered, we'll go ahead and show it. I'm going to click Live View, and let's say I don't type anything, and I'll just hit Send. You'll get this little button, this little warning box that'll pop up, and it'll say, you have these errors, these things are required, and so it won't submit the form. And so it's a way of validating that the information is there. And also, sometimes a visitor will just forget or skip over something and they didn't know. And so, now another thing, let's say we type a name in, okay, I'll just type my name, Trent Robinson. And then in email, I'm going to type Trent Robinson. And then for comments, I'm going to type hiya. And then I click send. Now it's saying the email must contain an email address because it's looking for your name at your domain.com or .net or something, and so it's not accepting that. So it'll make sure that the information is there, and so it's pretty cool in that way. We'll reset the form. We'll go out. Now another way to validate a form is using SPRY, and SPRY is very cool. It's basically JavaScript that's written for Dreamweaver. That it's actually an entire framework. It's cool, and there's always things being added to it. You go check it out at SPRY framework at Adobe, and you'll find out a lot about it. And so let's say we want to add a SPRY validation to this field here. What we do is go up here. We're in forms, and down here these are all your SPRY selections, your SPRY elements. And so we go right here to the text field, and once with this selected, we click SPRY field validation, text field validation, and click the little tag title here, and your property inspector will change, and you'll see a bunch of new options. And so we'll want you have validate on submit. You're going to have validate on change, which is basically as the visitor enters information, as they enter information and the information changes, it'll validate each thing. But we're going to select validate on blur, and what that does, it validates as they click out of it, and it's required. It has a minimum value, a maximum value, minimal characters, maximum characters, so you can change and you can specify any kind of way, and we're just going to leave it like that for now. We're going to do the same thing for email. So it's a text field, and so we're going to add a validation, SPRY validation to text field, and we're going to validate on blur. And the type is email. So right here, We're going to change that to email. And there's a bunch of different types for different things. And as you saw, it's showing a invalid format as a preview state, and that's just for us to see. Once it's an actual actual on the web, you won't see that. It's just letting us know what it will look like. And then we're going to add a spry validation to this text area, and that's this button here. And we're going to validate on blur, and we're going to leave this basically the way it is. Now, we're going to preview it, and what happens is, let's say I want to type my name, and now as you see, the box has a blue border around it. There's a yellow background inside the field, and you know, let's say I type Trent 009, like 007. When I click out of that field, it turns green, so it lets me know that that's accepted. For name, I'm going to type Trent Robinson. I'm not going to use the correct format. When I click out of it, it automatically turns red, and immediately, without even having to submit the form, it lets me know that this is an invalid format in this little cool box here. And so I'd have to go back and, you know, type Trent at me.net, and when I click out, now it turns green. It's accepted. Same thing goes for comments. It automatically, you know, does that for you. So it's pretty cool in that way, and then you can go ahead and submit it. And so that's basically the two ways for validation. One using behavior, the behavior within the tag inspector, and the other using spry validation. That'll be it for today. In the next lesson, we'll actually cover spry navigation. So we'll figure out how to use different spry elements for navigation. And thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.